Okay, let's take a look at some of these and see if we can't clear up some mistakes that we made. So we want to simplify this. This is a whole bunch of addition. It's kind of like, what if, forget about the negative for a second. What if it was just something like, I don't know, 9 plus 9 plus 9. See, that we could rewrite that as 9 times 3. So multiplication is a shortcut for addition. So if I want 3, negative 3 plus negative 3 plus another one plus another one plus another one plus another one, and I do that 10 times, I could just take negative 3 times 10. Well, if we think about this as a person walking, we walk negative 3 miles or kilometers and negative 3 again and negative 3 again and negative 3 again. See how we ended up way in the negative? That's a picture of why one negative, when you multiply it, actually is negative. Now I want to make sure people are watching these videos, so this first problem, if you've watched this first one, I want you to put the word cat down here. Okay, let's take a look at the next one now, multiplication. Negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. If I wanted to do 9 times 9 times 9, remember 9 times 9 means 9 to the second power. 9 times 9 times 9 means 9 to the third power. So 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 3 to the 10th power. Now some people missed it because of the negative. It's negative 3 to the 10th power. Compare that to if you wrote it like this, negative 3 to the 10th power. See, 10 negatives, a negative and a negative and a negative and a negative and a negative, 10 negatives, see the parentheses allow 10 negatives to happen. That makes it positive. If you wrote it like this, the 10 doesn't get on the negative and it makes it negative. So so you have to put those parentheses in there so that 10 can get on to the negative, so there's 10 negatives. Now likewise over here, it's the exact same problem when we want to do it 11 times. It's negative 1/14 to the 11th power. We need those parentheses so we can have 11 negatives. Well, 11 negatives makes it negative. Now, if you wrote it like this, see, that's technically not the same because now the 11 is only on the 1. So yes, it's still negative, but really we want we want 11 negatives, we want 11 ones, and we want 11 14s. So again, if you want that whole fraction on there, we have to have those parentheses. Okay, so if you watched these, I want you to say dog on this one and fish on this one. This is just how I'm making sure people are watching these videos. Okay, let's take a look at question number 2 now. Now it's the detail of that. See, that 22 is on the parentheses, so there's 22 negatives. Well, 22 negatives, every time you have 2 of them, they cancel out. So 2 of them cancel out, 2 of them cancel out. If we do that 22 times, the 21st and 22nd one cancel out, and there's none left over. That means this one is positive. Opposed to this one, see, now the 22 does not reach the 3. So now we have 1 negative and 22 threes. 1 negative is a negative. A negative when it's on a power doesn't mean negative at all. It means the 3 is in the wrong spot. So we would put the 3 on the bottom. It would be 3 to the 22. See, once you move the negative power where it belongs, it turns up to be positive. Here the 23 is on there's 23 threes and there's 23 negatives. So again, they cancel out in pairs. 2 of them cancel out, 2 of them cancel out. By the time we get out here to the 21st one, the 22nd one, the 23rd one is still there. So 22 of them canceled out just like they did in the first one. But then we have this 1 negative left. Here the 23 is only on the 3, so we have this 1 negative left. Here the negative is on the power, and again a power means that 3 is moving downstairs, so when you move it downstairs it becomes positive. So 1 over 3 to the 23 is a positive answer. Here the 22 is on the 1. There's 22 threes and there's 22 negatives. 22 negatives all cancel out to be a positive. And here the 22 only goes into those two spots, so there's one negative left over, and one negative is a negative. Okay, so if you watched all of those, so we have cat, dog, fish, I want you to write the word bird right here. Okay, number 3. Let's take a look at these here real quick. So this one means it's going downstairs. So we have 4 to the 8 that stayed upstairs, and then 4 to the 3 that came downstairs. There's 8 of them on the top and 3 of them on the bottom. 3 of them are going to get rid of those 3 up there, so we have 5 of them left on the top. You don't have to put the 1 when it's on the bottom, so it's 4 to the 5 power. Letter B. Some people ask me if this meant 1 times 2. If it meant 1 times 2, there would be a times in between there. I mean, we got to have a difference between 1 times 2 and 12. So if there's nothing in between numbers, then nothing's there. So this 2 goes on to 12, so it's 12 to the 2. Some people called that 24. That's automatically wrong. The 2 goes on to A. 5 times 2 is 10. And now negative 11 times 2 is negative 22. So these 22 are going downstairs. They belong in the bottom. So those 22 are coming down here. So they're not up there anymore. Okay, 12 times 12 is 144. There's no A's to battle out, so the A is on the top. We've got 10 against 22. That leaves 12 left over in the bottom. Letter C, there isn't anything to do to this one. There's 10 on the top, 3 on the bottom. 10 against 3 leaves 7. 7 sevens are left. Okay, this one's gone. Now this negative means that belongs in the bottom, so the x to the 3 is in the bottom, and you have to have the 1 when there's something on the top. Okay, 2 b's on the bottom. We'll get rid of 2 b's on the top. So that leaves 1 left on the top. There was nobody battling the A, so that was it. The A was done. 3 against 2 leaves a B on the top. Lots of confusion on F. Okay. First of all, we have 5 negatives. 5 negatives is negative. Then we've got 3 to the 5th. 3 to the 5th. Then power to a power is multiply. So 4 times 5 is 20. Power to a power is multiply. So 2 times 5 is 10. Now a whole bunch of people put this negative 3 on the bottom. But that's not what that negative means. That negative actually means negative. The 3 is in the correct spot. See, its power is in the correct spot. That one is now done. The 3 does not move to the bottom. Alright, I'm going to pick up these y's and put them downstairs. So that'll be y to the 3. I'm going to just scratch them out. And let's see what we have. Okay, if you had... this isn't part of the problem, but just if you had something called 2/4, nobody ever answers it as 2/4, we reduce it. We divide by 2 and we divide by 2. 2/4 is written as a 1/2. That's what numbers are. Numbers are numbers. You have 3/12 sitting over here. Divide by 3 is 1, divide by 3 is 4. That 3/12 turns out to be 1/4. Okay, so numbers do what numbers do, and then variables follow the rules. So I have 2 x's on top, 6 x's on the bottom. That leaves x4. There's 4 on the bottom. So I've taken care of the 3 and the 12. Now I've taken care of the x's. Now I've got 6 y's on the bottom with nobody to battle against. So there that one was, 1/4x4y6. Okay. Here's some y's that are going to come downstairs. All right, now let's put them all together. Numbers do what numbers do. That means 5 times 2. Just like over here, that meant 3 divided by 12. 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, the x's There's 2 x's and 4 x's, nobody on the bottom, so all 6 of them. I'll scratch those out. And now the y's, there's 1 on top, 3 on the bottom. 1 against 3 is 2. Lots of people missed letter I. The 8 does not have any negative powers on it. It only has this one going downstairs. So downstairs is a 1 to the 4th. Okay, well 1 to the 4th is 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. 1 to the 4th is just 1. 1 times 8 is just 8. The bottom just has an 8. And then you got to have something on the top when it's all gone. Some people did this 1 over 1 to the 4th times 8. Well, I gave credit for that, but that really isn't the simplest form because numbers do what numbers do. You multiply them together. 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 8. Okay, let's take out the B. Numbers do what numbers do. That's 4 times 3, is 12 times 2. 4 times 3 times 2 is 24. Okay, here's the A's. There's 4 of them. There's another one for 5 of them. And there's another one for 6 of them. 4, 5, 6. I got A to the 6. Here's the B's. There's 3 of them and 5 more for 8 of them. All right, K, let's get rid of that thing. 4 to the 2nd power is not 8. It means 4 times 4. And then right here we have y3, 2. That's y6. So 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, letter L. The 3's certainly can go away, so we're just going to do a battle. I have 1x against 2 x's, so there's an x left on top. And then 2 y's against 3 y's, so there's a y left on top. Okay, this whole idea here is to count up the 2's. Okay, there's a 2 to the 3rd. Don't make that an 8. We're trying to battle up the 2's. It's 2 to the 3rd, and there's 2 to the 8. So there's 11 2's on the bottom. So it's 1 against 11. Well, 1 against 11 leaves 10 on the bottom. Okay, on the top up here. We've talked about this many, many times. That's 2 to the 3rd. Some people call that 8, but I would leave it 2 to the 3rd because we're going to battle 2's. And then 4 times 3 is 12. So there's the real top. Okay, so look at the 2's. There's 3 2's on the top and 1 2 on the bottom. That leaves 2 2's on the top. 3 against 1, so now the 2's are done. Now we do the x's. There's 12 on the top, and there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 12 against 7. That leaves 5 on the top. And then there's 5 y's on the bottom. Now we don't leave it like that. 2 to the 2nd power is 4, so it was 4x to the 5th over y to the 5th. Okay, I'm going to multiply these in there. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And we've got a 2 to the 5 and a 2 to the negative 8. Okay, those come down and those go up. So the 8 goes up. So I have had a 2 to the 5, and now we have a 2 to the 8 upstairs. The 6 came downstairs. So when we get done looking at it, we have 13 against 6. 13 against 6 leaves 7 on the top. Okay, and the last one, get rid of that. So let's see here. That's going to be an x to the 5. That's going to be a y to the negative 5. Negative 2 times 5 is a z to the negative 10. So I've dealt with all of this. Down here, I'll get rid of that one. Negative 1 times 1, that's going to be a y to the positive 1, and 4 times negative 1 is z to the negative 4. So There I have everybody put together. Now I'm going to move them. These 4 z's belong upstairs, so there's a z to the 4. That takes care of this one. Here's 5 y's that belong downstairs. I'll put those downstairs. That takes care of this one. And now all I have is positive things. So now I'm going to see how many there are and where they are. So this x's. There's 2. Oops, I forgot this z to the negative 10, didn't I? So z to the negative 10 belongs downstairs. So that one's not there. Okay, so now the x's. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And on the bottom, there's none. So there's x7 only on the top. And now I'm going to get rid of those. The y's. Doesn't look like there's any y's on the top. On the bottom, there's 5, 6 of them. So I got a y6 on the bottom, and the y's have been taken care of. Now the z's, there's 3 and there's 4. So there's 7 on the top, there's 10 on the bottom. 7 against 10 leaves 3. And there we have that one.